Hi everyone, we are looking at graphs and transformations of cubic functions or cubic graphs. This is the second problem we are looking at. We've solved one problem already. We did say that graphs of this nature, they take the form f of x f of x equals ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, where a, b, c, d are real numbers. This is what we have for cubic functions like this: ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, where a, b, c, and d are real numbers. We want to sketch graphs of this nature. So let's see how we go about it. Let's look at the second problem. In this case, we have x, 2x minus 1, x plus 3. Y equals x, 2x plus 1, x minus 3. 2x minus 1, x plus 3. Correct. This is number 2. Already we are doing. We've done a previous video. Number 1. So let's see how we can be able to sketch this graph. First thing you do is to find the positions of the graph on the x-axis. That is, you want to know where this graph crosses the x-axis. And where the graph crosses the x-axis, all values of y are 0. There's no vertical value there, it's just horizontal value on the horizontal line. So that is to say, if we say here graph crosses x-axis at y equals 0, which means if we equate this function to 0, we will find the values of x. Then we know that at those points the graph touches the x-axis. So that is the case. We have here x into 2x minus 1 into x plus 3 all equals 0. I'm bringing the y now here, where it's 0, we said. So that means x is equal to 0, 2x minus 1 equal to 0, and x plus 3 equals to 0. This still implies x equals to 0. This one implies if 2x minus 1 equals to 0, it means x is equals to 1/2. This implies x equals minus 3. So to put it in a coordinate form, you have x, you have 0, 0, and 1/2, 0, and minus 3, 0. These are the positions where the graph touches the x-axis. Those 3 positions. So now to find out where the graph crosses the y-axis, graph crosses y-axis at x equals 0. At x-axis, y equals 0. Crosses y-axis at x equals 0. y0, x0. So wherever we see x, we put 0. In that case, we'll be able to know where the graph crosses the y-axis. So we have our function here, which says that x into 2x minus 1 into x plus 3. So if x into 2x minus 1 to x plus 3 equals y, then still put y here, y is equals to this, and now want to put x 0. So the first x here, we put 0. 0 is multiplying everything here. You know, everything has been multiplied by 0. So this whole equation goes to 0. Therefore, y is equals to 0. That is what you have. X equals to 0, y is 0. So, the next step is to examine this graph, the behavior of this graph at plus and minus infinity of the x-axis. What happens to the y-axis? When this graph goes to plus infinity, x goes to plus infinity, what happens with y? So, at x, as x approaches plus infinity, the values of x, when they get larger and larger and larger, what happens to the value of y? We now come here, if x becomes bigger, this x is become really large numbers. You multiply in large number, large number, large number. These are minus 1 plus 3, something small. So y will also become larger. Y will also approach plus infinity. If x approaches minus infinity, what happens to y? If this becomes smaller, 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 multiplying smaller, 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 really small numbers, what will happen to y? Y will also become very small. Y will approach minus infinity as well. So this information is enough to sketch the graph. Let's draw put here our y-axis, x-axis, and let me just put 1 here, 2, yes, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, 1, y, 1, minus 1. So this is our coordinate or Cartesian system. We now know the graph crosses the x-axis at 0, 1/2, minus 3. Yeah? So 0, 0, it crosses at the center of the circle or origin of the circle. 1/2, 1/2 will be here. This is 1, so 0.5 will be here as here, and then minus 3, and then here. But then it crosses the y-axis where? At the origin again. But we know as x approaches plus infinity, x keeps going this side, y approaches plus infinity. So this side is all positive. So we now know the graph will go like this, because x going larger, y going larger. And also know, as x is getting minus infinity, y is approaching infinity. So this will also go like this. But the graph crosses the y-axis at 0. So here, so which means we have something like this. Mind you, this is not a straight line, just for explanation purposes. Everything here is just a smooth curve. Excuse me for this. So this is how this graph looks like. Yeah? If x goes larger, y goes larger. X goes smaller, y goes smaller. So this is the graph y equals x into 2x minus 1 into x plus 3. Thank you for watching.